Today we're looking at social Darwinism and the Gilded Age. Hello, welcome to the Daily Bellringer. Please don't forget to subscribe and take a look at the questions down in the description. Also, don't forget to check out dailybellringer.com for resources that go with many of the Bellringer videos. Today's Bellringer video is a little different and honestly a little more difficult to understand than other Bellringer videos. This video deals more with ideas and ideologies rather than historic dates and facts. Some of the ideas that became prevalent during the Gilded Age are difficult to understand and clearly were absolutely wrong. But it is important to attempt to understand some of the ideas that Americans and those around the world held at that time in order to better understand that time period. During the time period from 1877 to 1900, sometimes referred to as the Gilded Age, the economy of the United States exploded, almost doubling in size. Industry, manufacturing, transportation all grew rapidly and underwent major changes. With this explosion in the economy also came extreme wealth for those in control of these growing companies. Wealth became much more concentrated, and by that I mean the number of people that owned all of the wealth became smaller and smaller, while the number of people without wealth grew larger. There was a divide or disparity of wealth that grew bigger and bigger between those who had wealth and those who did not. This led to social unrest, and many people argued that those with wealth were taking advantage of those who did not have any. Many blame the wealth and equity on the capitalistic economic system of the United States. Capitalism is basically an economic system in which private companies or businesses owned by individuals and not the government control all of the means of production and operate in order to make a profit. In a capitalistic system, businesses operate with little interference from the government, and the amount of goods produced and the price of goods is determined by supply and demand. To many during the Gilded Age, they felt this system gave too much wealth to some while ignoring the needs of the working class and the poor. As many Americans argued and fought against the system of capitalism, other Americans began to form arguments in favor of the system and the concentration of wealth in the United States. Charles Darwin was the scientist that in 1859 published his book On the Origin of Species. In it, Darwin laid out his theory or idea of evolution of all living things. Within it, Darwin argued the idea of survival of the fittest, or natural selection, that basically said that in the natural world, only the strong survive, and those that best adapt to their environment will prosper, while those who are weak and cannot adapt will not survive and will eventually become extinct. Many economists and sociologists took these ideas and applied them to the economy and society itself. Some people began to argue that by having laws in place that help the poor or working class, that the government was hindering or slowing down the natural progress or evolution of the society. Some argued that competition was the key to the entire economy and society, as they believed only through competition would society be able to eliminate the weak. Unfortunately, some Americans took these ideas too far and began to make arguments in the support of eugenics. Eugenics is the idea that certain people have superior traits to others, and that people with undesirable traits should not reproduce or should simply be eliminated. Supporters of eugenics believed personality traits such as mental illness, criminal tendencies, or even simply being poor could be passed from one generation to the next. These ideas, of course, further spread racist ideology throughout the United States. In the early 1900s, eugenics supporters began to actively push to eliminate people who did not have what they saw as being superior traits. These efforts were led by several notable Americans, such as Margaret Sanger, who would go on to found Planned Parenthood, Helen Keller, and even Teddy Roosevelt. Years later, Adolf Hitler became a strong believer in social Darwinism and eugenics and used them as the basis for his efforts to create what he saw as being a superior race, and he used it as his justification for killing millions of innocent people. So with that, hopefully you learned something, and thanks for watching.